Thank you to everybody
For DVDs.
for being here today. This is a fun day because the management committee is going into session and on September 25th, and we've got just a couple items on our agenda today. So with that, we've got an agenda before us. If there aren't any changes to the agenda, I would then, without objection, approve the agenda as given to everybody and put out for public. Item number 2 is approval of our September 11th draft special management committee meeting minutes. Everybody's had a chance to review those as well. Are there any changes or edits that anyone would like to make?
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Lilligren moves, Osmond seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no? No, oh, I'm sorry, no, yes, I'm an aye. That passes unanimously. All right, we're now moving on to our non-consent business item, and we've got item 2024-248. It's the same week, and it's a labor agreement with the International Brotherhood. Say aye. And those opposed, no? No, oh, I'm sorry, no, yes, I'm an aye. That passes unanimously. No worries.
I'll get there.
Yeah. We'll just make sure all the audio is off before, because that'd be great. But yeah, that was fun hearing my voice again. Okay, so again, it's item 2024-248. It's the same week items to be going to council tonight should it pass here. It's a labor agreement with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Union number 110. It's IBEW. And we've got Joy Harkins, our labor relations manager, to give us an update. So thanks, Joy, for being with us.
Yes, good afternoon, Chair Johnson. I'm Alexis Baker. I'm a labor relations program manager. I report to Joy. That's okay.
Alexis,
yeah,
welcome.
that's okay. Thank you. I'm filling in for Joy today, who's caught up in some other bargaining related work. So Chair Johnson and committee members, again, Joy is not able to be present, and I am presenting here on her behalf. Again, I'm Alexis, and I'm a labor relations program manager with the council's HR department. I'm here to present our tentative agreement with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 110. The contract expired on April 30th, 2024. Electricians in this unit represent approximately 40 employees who perform electrical maintenance work and environmental services. The parties reached a tentative agreement on September 4th, 2024, and was ratified by the membership on September 12th, 2024. Highlights of the agreement include a 3-year contract effective May 1, 2024 through April 30th, 2027, a compensation package that includes a $5.59 general wage increase in year 1, a $4.40 general wage increase in year 2, and a $4.59 general increase in the 3rd year of the contract, matching the industry standard. There were also some language changes, including clarifying work location and on-call assignments to align with business needs. The wages and benefits negotiated in this agreement are consistent with the agreements in place with the council's other labor unions. The cost of the labor agreement was reviewed by finance and was negotiated within the economic parameters established by the council. And Madam Chair, the action requested today is approval to authorize the regional administrator to enter into a labor agreement with IBEW effective May 1, 2024 through April 30th, 2027.
Thank you, Alexis. You did a great job. Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, we appreciate the hard work on this. We appreciate IBEW and all the hard work that they do, and we're excited to take this up here and then move it on to council today. So with that, I'll just restate the motion that we'll be using today in council should this pass, and that is that the management committee would move approval to authorize the regional administrator to enter into a labor agreement with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union number 110, effective May 1, 2024 through April 30th, 2027. Is there a motion? Moved by Osmond. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lilligren. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no. And that passes unanimously. So thank you very much for being with us today. And then we have an information item for us, and that is a strategic plan update around engagement and from our Update Engagement and Development Unit. And we've got Ashante from the Office of Equity and Equal Opportunity who's with us today. So thank you, Ashante, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Council and committee members, Ashanti Payne, Assistant Director, Office of Equity and Equal Opportunity. And I am here today to talk about the actions, activities, and outcomes from the strategic plan that the Engagement and Development Unit has initiated.
Yep, there you go.
All right, now we go. All right, just a little background on this. If you remember back in 2021, the Office of Equity and Equal Opportunity developed a new unit within the department to really extend our reach beyond regulatory compliance. I feel that we do a good job at regulatory and compliance activities, but to genuinely strive towards equity and equitable outcomes, we have to go beyond just regulation and compliance. One of the first tasks that unit did was they conducted a survey of both larger, longer established businesses that are prime plan holders with us, and also certified small businesses, to get a sense of where we are, where our connections are with, where we have barriers, and how we can better reach equitable outcomes through our programs. We utilized a lot of that information to inform our direction and how we wanted to proceed in terms of this unit, these efforts, and what things we would pay attention to. So of course, the three key areas for this unit: communication and marketing. We had really wanted to reestablish a connection point with our certified small businesses. We did acknowledge that it had been a while since we had really connected and had a regular cadence. So we reestablished a regular cadence through some strategic communications that we provide to our small businesses each quarter. And then engagement and community outreach. Again, we want to connect with internal and external stakeholders, both through participation at procurement events, supplier diversity events, and also internal with our meet and greets and efforts to connect our business units with certified small businesses. And then business development, really trying to provide technical assistance, training, capacity building, access to resources to businesses, and be that conduit. We have found that this has been an important effort, just the feedback that we receive and the feedback that we've received since we've initiated a third-party contract to provide these services. So here are some of the in-service key activities. So again, we connect with businesses that are not certified. We want to try and identify potential businesses out there who may be eligible to participate as certified small businesses. Definitely communicate the the benefits of becoming certified and what that truly means, and then offer assistance relative to becoming certified. One of our strategic goals is to increase the pool of certified small businesses, and this is one of those efforts directed towards businesses who are not certified. And then for existing businesses, we want to definitely identify internal barriers, surveys, assessments, and our advisory committees that we have here at the council are very useful and helpful for helping us identify those, provide connections through our meet and greets, and that quarterly cadence and communication with small businesses, and then develop those programs that assist the development of capacity, opportunities, resources. Some of those things would be Mentor Protege program, where we partner certified small businesses with a larger, longer established business to work on specific things within that business, and hopefully lead to more opportunities with council contracts, and we've had some success in doing that as well. So some of the highlights for 2024. In 2024, the EDU connected with certified small business and longer established business on our development efforts. We distributed 4 email newsletters to 205 newly added MCUP firms. We also are going to have a new DBE orientation that's scheduled October 29th. This is where we partner with our other agencies within the region, MnDOT, Metropolitan Airports Commission, and City of Minneapolis to host this event. Really kind of communicate, okay, you're certified, now what? What are some of the opportunities out there? How do you connect to government contracting? And how do you move your business forward? And how can you leverage this program to your benefit?
Ashante, just quick question. Do you guys track how many opens you get when you're sending out your e-newsletters? So that, so they get to an inbox, and I'm just wondering, most people somehow through analytics track if they're actually getting opened, read, or clicked through. You don't have to answer that now, but my organization, we send out all kinds of stuff, but when we look on the back end, who's really opening it, and we're making sure, especially for our targeted audiences, that we're doing multiple approaches to get information to them. So I'm not just for another time, but just curious about what your open rate is, or how it's actually getting in the hands, and to the person who's going to make that decision. Are they reading it?
Chair Johnson, I don't know the answer to that question. I do know that there were times when we contracted with third party, they can provide that information to us. I'm sure we have that technology here at I think we have that technology here at the council. I just don't know the answer to that, but I will get the answer to that.
Thanks. And we send out a lot of information to the council. I know there's just different systems everywhere, but it's just so important that once they're in and they're getting our information as well. So yeah, it'd be nice if you just circle back. Great, thank you.
Yeah, and these newsletters just are communicating opportunities, again, different events, or how to make connections with the council. And in our outreach and engagement efforts, often we invite, and these events are attended with us by the procurement department. And then recently we've reached out to some of the divisions to see if they would be interested in also attending these events. And if they are unable, do they have materials? We get materials from them to have available at these procurement events like SADBOC. That was one of the events that procurement also participated in. It is a large small business event, sometimes over 1,000 events. I think this was the first year that maybe the second year that they've been back in person for that event.
And Ashante, can you remind everybody here and those at home who are really super interested what that acronym means?
Yes, SADBOC, and I think there is a spelling error. It's the Small and Disadvantaged Business Advisory Council. So that I believe should be an A.
Okay.
But it is SADBOC.
All right, thank you.
And then the annual state procurement opportunity fair that was held in April. We also participated again, partnering with the agencies that I mentioned previously on a bonding education event. We know that bonding sometimes can be a barrier to our small businesses, especially when they're trying to grow and increase capacity. And then we had a meet and greet event and a session for the Green Line Extension Hopkins Rail Support Facility. 8 DBE/MCUP firms attended. And then individual meet and greets where we connect businesses who have an interest with business units and decision makers within the council. I will say to only have 2 of those this year is low. We're usually for a year round, we're usually doing about 7, 8 of those a year individual meet and greets.
And Josh, Shante, again, what held it back to just 2 this year?
It just sometimes can be a challenge to find time for the business units to connect these businesses to. So we do have businesses that we know are interested and are waiting. and that we're waiting to hear back and connect them with some of these business units
At the council, or just,
at the council.
so yeah, let's try to figure a way to help them be more available, whatever that means.
Yes.
I know, and I know everybody's working like probably crazy right now, but if that's a barrier, we've gotta figure out how to open that up for you guys, so, or whatever units are having issues, so.
Agreed. Some more of our, like I said, I mentioned the Hopkins Light Rail Suburban. These are some of our most impactful and successful events when we do either project or like the last one on the list, the environmental services, prime consultants and DBE consultants. We often hear the feedback that this is so valuable, not only for the small businesses, but the large, longer established consultants that are normally prime contract holders. They ask us to do this more. It's actually the position where we want to be in as the Office of Equity and Equal Opportunity. This was something that ES brought to us as a problem. Hey, our consultants are saying they're having a difficult time finding a small business, and that's an easy. We love when we hear that. Yes, we can help. And that's the position we want to be in service and helping divisions and business units meet their objectives. It's also, we follow up with all of the businesses that attend, and we hear things from the small businesses and from the prime consultants. You know, excellent event, very informative. Time spent with your prime consultants was invaluable. And then, you know, from the prime consultants, the same sorts of sentiments. You know, found some promising candidates to help us supplement our construction management and inspections, and also worked with environmental services, buildings, and lift station projects in the past with this business. And it's informative for us because a lot of times when we're in the goal setting process, we hear, well, you know, the prime's not gonna wanna sub that, or they're not gonna, but then again, we're making that decision for the prime when there are market and business decisions that they can make and make that decision for themselves. And we find out that, hey, the prime consultants are telling us this is where we do need the help and where we are finding opportunities for small businesses. So I can't stress enough how important and successful those types of events have been for us and the feedback that we continue to receive. Again, this year, we contracted with Project Solutions, who is a DBE firm, not an MCUP firm, because they're based out of South Dakota, North Dakota, one of the Dakotas. They have initiated some support services programs, construction safety, how to estimate and bid, how to respond to an RFP, managing contract changes, and then one-on-one business consultation. This is just a breakdown of the businesses that have attended. Again, in terms of a demographic, Caucasian women and Black American firms are the largest number of firms that are taking advantage of this service. We did take a little bit of break, which is kind of like the height of the construction season this summer, but the next round is occurring and information went out. It'll be starting in October. And just in terms of some of the one-on-one support services that are offered, intro to government contracting, implementing human resources, strategic planning, accounting for project-based businesses, market analysis, seeking government contracts and crafting competitive proposals, branding, design, marketing, estimating and bidding, obtaining working capital, and teaming strategies. The other thing is that, you know, once we get to the year end and the quarter end, we will sit down with the consultant. We do get feedback and follow up with businesses who participate so that we understand the value. So we know that there's value in this work, but we also want to learn what are some of the other services that businesses are saying they want and need, so that we don't stay stagnant and we can continue to grow and develop this program and this service. Thus far, I want to remind that this body and the council approved funds to do this work. And so far, we have been invoiced for $52,200 and some worth of work out of the $200,000 that was allocated to us. So I wanted to provide that as an update as well. I also wanted to talk about some of the outreach that we've done with community-based organizations. We wanted to start to connect with some community-based organizations so that we're not just transactional, and that we can work on specific ideas and strategies and partner on things when it makes sense. Some of those organizations include African Development Center, African Economic Development Solutions, the Asian American Chamber of Commerce, Asian Economic Development Association, Hmong American Partnership, Latino Chamber of Commerce. In the Latino Economic Development Center, Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce, Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce. So it also helps now that we're doing a survey. I think we also updated this committee that we're doing an equity assessment of our small business programs. One of the things that we thought that we should do is try to connect with businesses where business owners, English might not be their first language. So now that we have contacts established in some of these communities, we can use them to leverage, and this is not the first time we're coming to them, and they can help us get the word out so that we can extend our reach and get information that will hopefully inform our decisions moving forward. And with that, I will stand for any questions.
All right, thank you, Ashante. Are there any questions? Councilmember Lilligren?
No, I'm done.
Oh, Councilmember Pacheco, you'll fight for
Chair,
it.
you mentioned that survey again, the small business, is that completed yet?
No, it's not completed, Councilmember Pacheco. It is still ongoing, and I think we expect it to be completed in the next couple of weeks, and then the consultant is going to interpret and analyze the results, and then we'll get a report out on that. We did send that out to some of our council members here as well, so to help that along as well. So
I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Councilmember Lilligren.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Ashanti, thanks for the report and the great work. And I just really want to lift up what you said in your opening, that what an impact you've had moving out of the regulatory compliance kind of framework and more into this kind of work. And it's always been a little frustrating for me in public life how so much of this can focus on just that regulatory and compliance piece, and it takes a lot of resources to do that. It's important work to do, but I really appreciate your approach. Those topics of those trainings just sound so right on. It's good to hear all of that as well. So I just want to thank you for that work. And I do have one question, and this doesn't come up here, but I'm guessing that it does in some of your engagement with both certified and non-certified businesses, and I hear it out in kind of my world during my day job, and that has to do with the timeliness of payments to subcontractors. And so I know it's not on the page here, but I'm wondering if you could just comment. Do you hear that from some of during your outreach, and then maybe what possibly some of the suggestions to mitigate any kind of lags?
yes, thank you, Councilmember Lilligren. The number one issue, barrier, and sometimes demise of some of our small businesses, especially when you're talking about these large projects where pay cycles can increase. So to answer your question, yes, that is the number one thing that we hear. I think the number one thing that we're trying to change is historically, we have been in the position of when we hear from a small business that they're having issues getting payment, then we get on it and act. But a lot of these small businesses, they're dependent on getting work from these larger contractors or subcontractors. So they don't want to make too much noise, and sometimes they'll wait, with the hope that it's coming soon. So partly and probably maybe mostly through regulation. On the federal side, they said that's not good enough any longer. You have to be proactive. You have to come up with a monitoring system, and you have to come up with sanctions for the folks that violate the property law.
So that we're doing it, right, not the small business.
Exactly. So we're not depending on that. The other thing is we are having active and regular conversations for the upcoming Blue Line project because of what we've learned from the other large projects. We've invited external stakeholders and subject matter experts to have these conversations on what we can do. And first it starts with us. What can we do with our own processes that sometimes we have to take ownership of where we can improve. Second is the prime contractors who we're paying and depending to pay the subcontractors. And thirdly, what can we do to support and educate the small businesses through this process? So there are some ideas that have been brought forth. I think some ideas that we will implement for sure on the Blue Line upcoming project, and some innovative things too that have come up. And actually we'll be doing some internal education here coming up both to our leadership at the council and to those individuals who are responsible for contract administration. One, to update them on the change in the rules, what that means for us, and then also from a technology standpoint to make sure we have the technology to do it efficiently and well.
Thanks, I look forward to seeing how that progresses.
Great question, thank you, Councilman Pacheco.
Yeah, Madam Chair, members, we being the Equity Advisory Committee had a retreat just last week, a little over last week, and a lot of what you had here was aligned, and I think mostly because of size leadership with having both of these under that umbrella. But we did talk about also what are the to-dos kind of thing, and my to-dos are what do you have to do? What are regulatory requirements, and what are we looking at? And what they'll ask is two things: how many people have you hired? BIPOC folks have you hired, and how much are you spending? But then there's what are we asked to do, and we're asked to do things from different business units here, and saying what is the equity impact of what we're doing with water and how we're using it, and that was brought up too. But I think then the final one is what we want to do. How are we going to make things better and different? And we had some great input from the folks that were there. Leadership here, Yasmin and Chai made a presentation on what it is to serve as an advisory. And I thought that was very impactful. And Tony Carter was there and others. So we had a great meeting there, and I think it does align. And there are some opportunities for us to grow and to reach out there. I like the meet and greets because people can corner you and say, what about this? And so people say, well, you don't know how many people actually, how impactful are. But every now and then you'll get a story back or they'll come back. And so I appreciate you continuing doing those as well. We do them every now and then. I think last week was Sherwin-Williams brought all their vendors together to work with the community. So I think there's a lot of people out there, makes it more competitive, if you will. And I think people are listening to the needs both of the community and some of the industries that we have. So.
Thank you. And Ashanti, just one quick question on slide 5. These training sessions that took place that you referenced, was this the vendor contractor that we hired that did this and is brought that information back? Or was it a partnership? Or remind me again, who is leading all of these training sessions?
Chair Johnson, the vendor conducts the training sessions. We require them to report to us
Okay.
on these training sessions. Tomas Mabratu is the manager of the EDU unit, so it's his unit that is managing this contract and providing the data and information that I brought to you here today. Moving forward, I would plan that Tomas is going to be providing updates on these. He's a little shy, so he's watching.
We all start
I know
that
he's
way.
watching today, and
We're
moving
friendly.
forward, he will be
Hi Tomas.
he will be presenting.
It's gonna be great, you'll see. And I really do appreciate that, and I think to your point, having contractors get us information is really important, and that's why we're doing it. And yet having eyes and ears and a body in a room where a relationship starts, or they can hear things differently, or all of that. But I know it's resources and timing and everything like that. And not really to go deep now, because we've got to make sure we get to council, but also just looking at a couple of the columns where, Native American and Hispanic American, and again, just based on size of populations and outreach and things like that, it's just, I'm sure we're wanting to get those numbers up for Hispanic American, and it was for responding to RFPs. So I don't know if that's normal, if this is kind of how it cuts when you do these things, or if there's anything that can be done to, we always, I think, know that Caucasian women and Black American men specifically do well in this, but it's those other ones that we're trying to impact too, so. And just at the end of the day, I think I kind of mentioned it earlier, but whatever barriers, it's always great to have all the good news, and we love the good news, and thank you for all the hard work you and the team and everybody, Cy, and everybody's doing. But when you have barriers, if there are things that you want us to know about, that we can help reduce, eliminate, fund, whatever it is, just let us know, because we want to make your jobs easier.
Thank you, Chair Johnson, and to your point, yes, we see those numbers and what they mean. Again, we are conducting an equity assessment of our small business programs, how we administer them, what are the barriers, and one of the reasons why we felt it was important not to only get information from folks where English is their first language, and we are hoping to get a report with recommendations that we will share both with our leadership and with this council. And we expect and are hopeful that with those recommendations and identification of barriers, we will be able to improve these numbers the next time we come before you.
Yeah, the outcome is important, but the process is important, and you guys are deep in process. And I know your jobs are very hard, so whatever we can do to alleviate some of whatever those barriers are for you just in your own process, that'll get to those outcomes too. It's about the outcome, but we care about all of our people in that process too, so. Love to know more of what we can be doing at this level, and please push it up through the management here, get it to the council whenever you think you need to, okay? Everybody heard that? Great. Okay, yeah. Anything else for Ashante? Councilmember Osman.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Ashante, for this report. I really appreciate it. We just talking about the barrier that some of the communities that I really like the idea that you guys approach not only businesses, also the community organizations. So I just want to thank you for that. You approaching the community organizations, especially for those the English language, not the first language, and not have a barrier language. Is there any East African organizations that you have on the list that you just mentioned?
Councilmember, on the list I just mentioned, no, but let's connect so that we can
Definitely, I will
grow this list.
Yep, thank you, and I will send you some maybe organization that involved in the East African community, so you can guys work together, especially for the business. There is a certain way they approach to the communities, especially from the East African communities. those communities are very good when it's come to businesses, so I'll connect whatever I get the chance. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Councilor Moore.
And thank you, Councilmember Osmann. Anything else on this item, anything else? And seeing no other business to come before this committee, meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for the flex start time too, Madam Chair.